Isn't it so interesting how more people are wanting to go back to traditions that we used to have and kind of slowly let go of? I think it's fascinating. Like, for instance, veiling is one of them, where, I don't know, maybe people thought that because culturally it wasn't as common for women to veil, that, yeah, Catholics would also not feel the difference of veiling or not. Now, and I understand that it shouldn't be that we are only feel more reverent or we are reverent when we veil. Like, that's not the case. We should be reverent towards God all the time. So I understand the sentiment behind it, but I remember a few years ago asking my grandma like her thoughts on it because she definitely grew up before Vatican II and she also grew up with nuns, so she was very exposed to that world of growing up with veiling. And then um as she got older with Vatican II, it kind of died down. So I asked her, and she just told me that she loved wearing her veil and seeing her little friends also in their veils during Mass. But that even now, after it's been so many years that she hasn't worn one, that she would love to get one and start the practice again. So eventually I did get her one, and she wears it. Obviously, it's a little harder when you're older to because your hair becomes so fine, or maybe it's just her hair. I don't know. But it gets harder to kind of stay in place and everything. But yeah, there's thankfully there's a lot of different veils that you can use, not just one type of style. As long as you're covering your head, you are pretty much veiling. So that's kind of a good thing that goes with it. But I wanted to focus more on the reasons why you should not fail, because I think that is something that people need to take to prayer most. Um, and if you feel like you're inclined to say yes to any of these things, or that they resonate with you, then don't you don't have your heart in the right place to start veiling. And I say that because veiling should be a way of being reverent and acknowledging that you're in the Lord's presence and you want to glorify his presence, um, and showing your humility before him. Also, it's a great way to increase your devotion towards the Holy Eucharist by again realizing that you are in a different place. You're not just out in the supermarket. You're not at Bible study with your friends, which is great. To have Bible studies, but it's different. You are literally in his presence. So just how you wouldn't dress the same way you go to the gym um, to a professional meeting, you also don't dress the same as when you go work out, when you go to mass. But as women, we also have this invitation to avail ourselves and to prove further our femininity, or not prove it, but display it more so in the sense that we get to share in God, um, or through God, our gift of life giving and acknowledging like what a gift that is. And we have our motherhood to kind of show how unique we are made. Not saying at all that we are holier than men. That's not at all what veiling is about. Um, but you know, it is um customary from like speaking traditionally from a long time that women veil and they kind of cover themselves. Now there's different reasons why certain cultures do it. Not saying that it's always a good thing, unfortunately, but more often than not, it's for at least in Catholic um tradition. It's to symbolize and kind of make present or make known um, that there's a mystery behind it. So, like, we veil the altar and the tabernacles because there's a certain mystery. And we as women, we hold that special mystery of holding, of carrying life within us in a very unique way. So, again, does this not mean that men aren't any holier or that they aren't special? They are in their own way, but which is why they don't need to veil. So, again, I'll like links of videos and share with you other resources that you can look into to have a better understanding um, of this beautiful tradition. But if you are doing it for attention or you're doing it to make a political statement, um, or a fashion statement, then you probably should not be wearing a veil. Now, it's one thing to be a little self-conscious about what people will think the first time you veil if you've never veiled and you go to a mass where veiling is not a common practice or no one else veils, but like I feel like that's okay. That's part of our human nature to not want to feel like the center of attention, um, for the most part. But again, if your heart is in the right place and you're doing it to glorify God, then you should be okay. And more often than not, you'll find that people don't really care. They're not they're not thinking anything bad about you, or they don't think that you're trying to be better than them or holier than them, because that's not your intention, and it's going to show um and come through without you having to explain yourself. Or who knows, maybe this is God's way of using you as an example of why more people should start veiling. And you're kind of giving them, those women who want to veil but don't have the courage to do it, to also feel comfortable in doing it and knowing that if it's for the Lord, why not do it? Um, So yeah, there's different styles that you can use for veils. Again, I feel like as long as you're covering your head, you should be okay. As long as you're keeping in mind that you're not trying to draw attention to yourself. So I personally would not advise getting any of the vibrant colors. Um, Maybe sticking more to neutrals, or colors that match your natural hair so they don't stand out too much, because that's again not the point of veiling. Um, for instance, because I just started a few days ago and I just kind of grabbed whatever was in my mom's closet, I use this one, which is just like a rectangular one, and then you just put it over your head, like a regular scarf. Well, regular as in it goes in your head, but you know what I mean. And then there's also this one, which is the square one, but you put it more like a bandana. Um, these are the ones I've worn so far, and I think I like them. I don't feel the need to purchase any other ones, but there are some beautiful ones out there. Um, and it's a great way to support small businesses who have this calling and desire to share more veils with more people who want to seek that special devotion. So, these are my reasons as to why you shouldn't, or maybe continue taking it to prayer to see if the Lord is really inviting you in. Wait on Him to give you that comfort that you need to be able to wear it. But ultimately, I think you just have to do it one day. Um, and just have that special moment between you and the Lord where you are humbling yourself before Him and saying, "Hey, Lord, this is a special moment being here present with you in this very unique way. um, I'm gonna veil before you." So yeah, I hope this was of help. And again, I'll leave below some more helpful videos that would explain the tradition and everything a lot better. This was just for you to know that maybe take a second look into your heart and pray about why you even want to start veiling and why the Lord is putting this desire in your heart before you do. God bless.